By the time the late muzzleloader seasons roll around, most hunters have either filled their tag or thrown in the towel. But if you do still have a tag in your pocket and you don't mind some blustery weather, the late muzzleloader seasons can offer some fantastic hunting and a final opportunity to put some meat in the freezer. My oldest son, Coy, is tagging along on this hunt. He's never been into big game hunting, but he's an ace with a shotgun.
Press it.
All right, buddy. We recently put together a Kibler Woods Runner kit, 50 cal. He shoots it well, so I reckon he figured he'd give it a go with elk. These Flintlocks aren't the most practical weapons, or the most efficient, but they are a ton of fun to shoot. And for me, they offer a way to be more deeply immersed in the hunt and all things that lead up to it. The fact that you can cast your own bullets, and even make your own powder if you wanted to, checks that self-reliance box that seems ever present in the things that I love to do. Although I can group pretty consistently at 150 yards, I'm going to want to get a lot closer to ensure a good hit. And the one challenge that stands out above all others for these late elk hunts is getting past all of those eyeballs and getting within range. The best thing about late season elk camp is Thanksgiving leftovers.
So how does this hunt work?
These elk come down from the high country where we bow hunt, and they get out here on these open slopes, and sometimes you can see them just from camp. You can see them out there, but you might see them, but it can be difficult to get to them.
Yeah, because they're in the open.
They're in the wide open, and there's a lot of them, and so a lot of eyeballs, and so even though you can see them, a lot of times it can be hard to get to them, and sometimes you just can't. There's no way to get to them, and so we'll go up this ridge tomorrow, and just look for elk. So this time of day, first light, sun's just coming up, just getting to where you can see. They'll still be out feeding on the slopes, and they'll be slowly working their way back up to where they're gonna bed. And this is when you find them to make the play on them for the day. Looks like a cow to me, but I only see one, which is really strange. I only saw this one elk up there, but there's likely others, but I've seen a lot of elk up there in the past. So I think what we'll do is we'll hike up this ridge, and we get up there pretty good ways, and it'll connect to these other ones, and we'll just make a big loop and just see what we can see.
I've never been on an elk hunt before, or this elk hunt. I've gone with Dad a few times, but that's it.
Could be bedded right here, probably not, but maybe. So the clacking from these poles travels for a long way, so until we get up here and make sure that she's there or not, just keep them off the ground. So we just cut this cow's track, and she looks like she's doing just what I thought she'd do, kind of circle around the north side of this slope, and she'll be bedded over here somewhere. It's real tricky to sneak up on them when they're bedded if you don't know exactly where they're at. A little fire makes everything feel better. So we've got our eyes on two different herds that are in the same general area. They're about a ridge apart, but they're miles from here and really high elevation. Haven't seen much on this side. Saw that one lone cow this morning, and we followed her tracks for a little bit, and she peeled off and went into some timber, and so I just came on up the ridge hoping to see something up on the backside of here. We're gonna go over to the backside, just kind of check out some of this other country and kind of keep an eye on these other elk. Hopefully they come down. I think if we get a little bit of weather, they'll come down a little bit. They're way up there. You can see those dots up on top of the ridge. That's all elk. Take your glasses off, it'd be easier. If you look at those and then go down the ridge, there's another little ridge that cuts off to the right. There's some that's bedded at the bottom of that too. It's getting on into the afternoon. We've covered a couple miles today. Haven't seen much elk sign on this side, virtually none except for that one cow track. But they're just not here yet. We just need some weather to bring them down. But we do have our eyes on two pretty good sized herds that are quite a few miles from here at a lot higher elevation. So there's one of them that we could potentially get to tomorrow, but I'm hoping that we get a little weather, and when we do, all those elk will come down. They'll be much more accessible.
It was I enjoyed it. It was cold, but
it really sucked. We walked up a hill, we sat down on a hill, and we walked back down the hill. It's pretty mild weather for down here, and we don't have a lot of snow, so the elk are still up pretty high. But we saw a couple of decent herds this morning, too far for us to get to, and so they're still way up high, and I don't really know if I want to go up that high to get to them, because it's going to be if you kill one up there, it's a big job getting one out. And I know they're coming this way. I know they're coming down. So if we see them back up there in the morning, I might try to get up there and see if I can get close to them. But got my fingers crossed that we get some weather, and they're going to drop in elevation, which will make it a lot easier on us. Alright, so morning of the second day. Coy's taking the day off today. He twisted his ankle a couple days before we left, so he's giving it a rest today. We got this big herd up here that we saw last evening. So we'll just go down here and look at them, or look up in that basin and see if we can get eyes on them, and then if we can, make a game plan on how to get to them. We've got a pretty good north wind. So down in this desert country, there's roads everywhere, and this one particular road happens to be closed at this time of year to motorized vehicle use, but there's fresh tire tracks in it, which is kind of frustrating because people drive where they're not supposed to, and what that does is just push the elk back up into the high country. one step at a time. We're getting there. We've got, I don't know if this is the same herd that we were looking at from down bottom or not, but there's a giant herd up there. Hundreds of elk. Oh, probably another 3 miles. But I think we can, if we get up to this ridge, I think we should be able to look down in here. And there was that smaller bunch that was separate from the big group. I think we'll be able to find them up here somewhere, hopefully. So this is the rock. This small group, they were just on the downhill side of this on the other side, but they're not there now. There's one more little bench down here. We'll walk down and just look below that, but I don't think they're down there. With all the little meander and stuff, we probably covered 4 miles to get to here. This is where the elk were, all along this face and in this saddle where we're sitting right now. But they did what elk do. They just went up. They're really not all that far, but they're probably another 1,000 feet higher than we are now. So I don't know. We may just kind of meander up there and see what happens. If I shot one up there on that ridge and it went over the other side, then that's I don't know what to think about that. So we're almost on the slope, on elevation with those elk. They're still probably another couple hundred feet higher than we are. But if we skirt around the whole backside of this ridge, we should be able to get on the knob above them. And a lot of them are kind of facing this way, so they may feed across that slope. But we're up here. I want to check. I want to see how high our elevation is. We're right at 9,500 feet right now. So this herd there's a big saddle between us and them, and they're gonna have a clear view of us for a while. The only thing we can do is drop down a little bit and hike across there and just see how they respond. We've got probably 250 yards of country to cross where they can see us. The majority of them are bedded right now, so if we start across there and all of them stand up, then game's probably over, but we'll give it a try. Just stay right on me. See what we can see how close we can get. There may be something within range, and then again there may not be. so this cow was down here. She was only about 70 yards. I must have got some snow in my pan or something. There's a cow that was kind of straggling. I don't know which one it was. But there was one that was kind of straggling and just not acting quite right. And I'm just watching her. There was a pretty big hang fire on that when it finally did go off. Saddle. All the elk were strung out here. But just below us, and there was one elk bedded. And she was 150 yards, which is, I wouldn't normally take that shot, but I was pretty certain that was the one that I shot at big here, and she was hit. But she turned, and you can see that she's hit far back in the liver. But I just hit her again. She's down there. I don't think she's going very far, but she would like to get another one in her to put her out of her misery. Alright, so this cow is bedded. It's, I think the first shot had that misfire, that hang fire, and just must have moved. Shot was back, and second shot was just a long shot. It was 150 yards, and I think I just hit her low in the shoulder, and so it's her She's hitting that front right leg or the bottom of the shoulder, but she's bedded right here. I'd like to be able to go over there and end it, but I can't even see my sights anymore. I actually tried to shoot at her a third time here, but couldn't see my front sight. If she's not right there, she'll be somewhere real close in the morning, so I think we're gonna pack it up, get out here early tomorrow morning, see if we can find her.
Clay and I switched jobs for today, apparently. Just this morning.
So yesterday we did probably 12 miles, I think, and I didn't know it, but on the drainage that she ended up in, there's a road that goes all the way up this thing, so we could have cut off about 8 miles.
Ready to pack some meat?
Yeah. So that last we saw that cow, she was right up here somewhere. I don't see her, so I hope that means she's laying down dead. Found her. And she's down. I didn't think she was gonna move, but I just didn't want to push it last night. I mean, I couldn't even see my iron sights to shoot her again. But we got her. Didn't work out exactly the way that I wanted, but it did work out. So my first shot was pretty bad. It was way back from where I was aiming, but I don't know. I had a pretty good hang fire, and I think what happened is I normally don't have problems with that rifle, but all it takes is one tiny little piece of snow or ice or something to get into that flash hole, and I think I just wasn't careful enough with it when I was sliding down that hill getting onto them, and I think I just got a little bit in there, and that was just enough to keep that spark from doing what it needed to. Not an ideal situation, but I'm real happy that we were able to find her again after that first shot. Help my kid. Glad that worked out. A little icy back there.
How you feeling, Clay?
Happy to be back at the truck. Well, we need elk steaks tonight. That's how you say it. No, say it. Look, this is how you do it. Say, you say, hells yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Well, you just combine it into one word. Yeah. Yeah. Come on. That's what it's all about right there. One update. So the second shot on that elk, I just assumed that it was low in the leg because she didn't go down. But when we were butchering this elk, quartering her up, the shot was actually perfect. It was right in the shoulder, right where it should have been. The round ball hit this bone, the heavy bone, and the bone, it shattered the bone, but it stopped it. Never got into the chest cavity. And so that's why that elk didn't go down as soon as she should have. And so patched round ball, elk shoulder, not a good combination. And that's definitely going to have some bearing on my future selection of projectiles for elk hunting. So let that be a lesson to you. It was for me. Well, that's, I think, going to wrap it up for this one. We had a good time, got into lots of elk, and finally it's snowing. Coy decided he didn't want to go after an elk. I think he came to the conclusion he'd rather be on a sailboat than chasing elk around in the mountains, and that's just fine. We got a sailboat in Florida, so we'll go get some work done on that and put that thing back in the water when we get back down there.
Sounds good.
Appreciate the help packing the meat. You're not going to eat any of it, are you?
We'll see.
All right, folks. We'll see you on the next one.